that was quick. Nice to see you, man.
Hey. Likewise. Finale, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's only a little bit to go with the tracking down the last of the crystal shards.
Okay.
Crystal Shard.
There I go.
Hello.
Hi. Okay.
I just found a very horny manga. You guys want a recommendation?
Perhaps not on stream.
Oh wait, did you turn it on already?
Yes.
Oh shit. Fuck. My bad.
And
sorry.
demonetized. Oh, no worries.
Howdy.
Hi.
Hey.
So, watching
Yeah.
through Book of Boba Fett, and yeah, it's all right.
I hear it's pretty bad because, well, I won't say it's pretty bad. I hear that it's kind of underwhelming because it's like he
doesn't
can't
focus
carry a series.
Yeah, it's entertaining, but it's one of those things where I'm like, one season is enough.
And I would say, in all fairness, the first couple seasons of The Mandalorian were kind of a hard act to follow.
Oh yeah, it's a Return of the Jedi versus Empire Strikes Back situation. Both are good movies, but one just overshadows the other. But yeah, there are some pretty good moments that did make me chuckle. No word on the Obi-Wan series, though. I got nothing. I haven't started.
Yeah, I still need to
I've
see that
seen
myself.
I've seen like partial episode of that. Like I went to my mum's yesterday, and she was watching it, and I ended up just being like, yeah, ended up watching it. So it's just like,
I mean, we do get Ewan McGregor.
yeah.
That's always fun. I mean, the fact that they're getting all these actors to reprise their roles is nice. And even if the plot isn't good, God, the set dressing. Woohoo! Very nice. So how y'all been?
Alright.
Things are decent at the moment.
Although a couple of last days were pretty tiring, and I am making a bit of a push with the day-night today. For now, I am feeling quite alright.
I admit I was feeling a bit fatigued myself for a few days, though. That was because I was having like a sinus infection, and you know, that was fucking with me.
Sinuses as in, those in the eyes?
Well, I had like, okay, I felt plugged up, sinus headache, and my eyes were watering, and I was also fatigued.
Mm-hmm. Sounds pretty bad.
Eh, it usually only lasts a day or so before I have to... before I'm back. Hey, remind me, what does, fire and ice create?
It's like, I'll try getting it eventually. I just want to get this combo for the next stage, but like, I think you like freeze into an ice cube and then melt and it releases damaging steam?
Makes sense.
I still want to know, why is it that the Kirby series of all of Nintendo's sort of flagships is the one that they actually are like, let's actually be more experimental with.
I think it's because it's a side series, so if it bombs, it doesn't kill their main brand.
I think it might also be a thing that helps is that it's technically not Nintendo that makes it, it's HAL.
Sure, yeah.
So,
Oh.
we'll call them A, we'll call them B.
HAL. Yeah, HAL Laboratories. Like, they do a
Yeah.
lot of Nintendo stuff, but they are, like, still a separate entity, technically. Like, I think Nintendo
All
technically
I could
owns
think
the
of was-
Hmm?
All I could think was Kirby made in hell.
All I'm thinking is Kirby's fucking pissed. That one picture.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like, I think Nintendo technically owns the IP, but it is like, you know, HAL who is like the dudes who like make it, except for like those few times they don't. Like, I know that at the very least there was oh, what was it called? Amazing Mirror was made by a Capcom subsidiary.
Right.
Well, that's weird.
Well, I mean, it was a flagship who actually did quite a few nice games for Nintendo. Like, they were the ones who did the Zelda Oracle games.
Yeah.
And, I
was
believe
gonna say.
Minish Cap.
Which is one of my favorites of the handhelds.
Minish Cap is probably my favorite of the 2D Zeldas.
Yeah.
It's like the translating the Wind Waker art style to 2D sprite works so damn well.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And they did a really good job with the whole getting big, getting small mechanics.
Mhm.
It did make exploring fun.
Mm.
I don't ever understand why people hate on the game, though.
I've never really seen people hate.
No, it's like the hate of Super Mario Sunshine. Like, there's the people who go after it.
Here's the thing, Bren. I've never seen people hate on Sunshine either, except for that one video with Parental Floss where it just seems like it's been a punchline.
Apparently, there are people who hate the games, and I'm like, I don't get it either.
Like, I think if anything, I've mostly seen people who are somewhat disgruntled by it. Like, oh, there's people who don't like Flood, and they just want the pure
Yeah.
Mario.
Yeah, that's usually one of the reasons. Which I'm like, okay, but it's still a solid platformer with it. And I mean, though it is unanimous that everybody hates that goddamn Pachinko go 7-coin thing. That level can go to hell.
For the record, I am staying quiet just because I don't know any of those titles.
And that is why you fail.
That's kind of a shame, then, because...
They are actually pretty good.
And also, it's also a bit of a mixed opportunity, because I know you got dumped with some GBA games at one point, Conrad, and Minish Cap is a Game Boy Advance game.
Though, on my case, it was kind of like a bit of a coincidence. It's not something I planned, it just kind of happened. Weird as
Fair
it
enough.
sounds.
Though now I'm kind of interested in knowing what about the alternate universe where amidst that dump of games, instead of Mega Man Zero, you got exposed to Zelda.
I feel like it would have happened, yeah. That or Metroid.
Heroes with Battle Network. Because I'm not gonna lie, Battle Network 3 White was actually my first ever Mega Man game. At least one that I actually played, because technically I did rent Mega Man 64, but I embarrassingly couldn't get past the first thing because it was too scary because I was a dumb little kid and a wimp. So, mock me if you will, but I will admit to that.
Everyone, let's point and laugh at Bren for being afraid of the first enemy in Mega Man 64. Ha 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 ha. You have now been mocked.
Moving on.
Yeah, I don't think I've actually. Yeah, there's only one time where I've ever actually been scared enough by an enemy in a game that I was like, no, I can't play this. And that was when I first tried to play was it Code Veronica? Yeah, it was Code Veronica. Resident Evil. Because that was like at the time when I was like, okay, I am scared of zombies, so I need to expose myself to as much zombie media as I can to get over this fear. And so,
Therapy, yeah.
yeah, like I didn't even know that was a thing when I was a kid. It was just something that I thought on my own. I was just like, yeah, it makes sense. It's like I'll get used to it.
The problem, and
then
I'll overcome it. Yeah, there's a logical conclusion that even a kid could come up with. So what went wrong?
It was like when the first few zombies you encounter in Code Veronica, you've basically got no weapons. So it's just like, I can't deal with this. It
looks so weird when it's sucking directly up. It just looks so weird, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it wouldn't be until Resident Evil 4 that I actually kind of got over my fear, even though they're not really zombies in Resident Evil 4.
Yeah, they're close enough. They're technically animated bodies being possessed by a virus. It's not a technical zombie virus, but they're not zombie enough.
Well, they felt that way.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. It's more parasite, but yeah.
It's close enough.
Yeah.
And
Go ahead.
I just saying, I think there was a game which I also didn't progress at the time because it was scary. Can't recall which one it was, but I have a strong feeling there was at least one like that, so I'll give you an update if I recall.
So that's what Fire and Ice does. Huh,
Yeah.
neat.
Yeah, I'm glad I actually remember that correctly. Just freeze and suddenly melt it off. Not very easy to use.
Yeah. This is definitely one of those D-tier wet combos.
Yeah.
Now, one thing I'm actually, like, since I brought up Resident Evil 4, I am extremely surprised by the fact that we're getting Resident Evil 4 Remake.
Yeah, you'd think for how much they've re-released it on every system known to man, it's like, do we really need to actually re-update all the assets and gameplay and all that when it's like, it's basically been good since, like, day one.
Yeah,
Let's
like,
be honest, it influenced the direction Resident Evil would take, so...
I mean, hell, from what I remember, like, Resident Evil 4 VR was released just last year.
So, I forget
And
when, but
if I'm
yeah,
being
that's about right.
There is only one thing I just hope. I hope they keep all the goofy ass shit and all the weirdness. Like, don't try and change it. Just,
They are changing aspects of it, like the story as well. They're adding new stuff to it.
oh, they're gonna okay, as long as they don't cut out some of the sillier stuff. Like the goddamn chanting monks who always creep me out. And let us get all that cool swag. Give us Knight Ashley.
Well, another one that I'm hoping they don't, like, I hope we do get, like, separate ways as, like, separate ways was great. That was, the side story with, Ada.
Yeah, let us, make sure we get to keep everything.
But, like, here's the thing, like, in the trailer, it looks like they're going a boring route of making Ada look more, less femme fatale, more, like, oh, just secret agent. Like, she didn't have, it didn't look like she had, like, the sexy cocktail dress.
Come on, that was part of the fun, because, it's just, it's a goddamn zombie apocalypse. I'm gonna put on my cocktail dress.
It's not a zombie apocalypse, but
It's a parasite apocalypse. Let me put
it's not
on
an
my-
apocalypse. It's just a single town, a little region. it's trying to stop a cult from taking over the U.S.
Okay, so there's an evil cult with weird guys who want to kidnap the president's daughter. I better go put on my cocktail dress.
Yeah, that's what they well, that's the thing. Ada is kind of supposed to represent that sort of like femme fatale,
Yeah,
like she can kick ass in a dress and heels.
honestly, that's the kind of over-the-top silliness I think that made Resident Evil 4 so charming. Yes, it had the horror, but it also had some of that awesome goofiness that's just... Mwah!
And of course, we had Luis.
Yeah, he was alright.
I still love the fact that they actually put in a secret scene that you wouldn't really get any. You wouldn't really be able to see anyway unless you were just legitimately being a dick and trying to lose the game.
And what one was that again?
If you shoot Lewis too many times during the siege on the cabin, it goes into a cutscene where he then basically just like, okay, I'm sick of this, but he just caps you.
It's like, does Luis have to cap a bitch? No, I like some of the little details they included, like, oh, you look up Ashley's skirt, she calls you a perv, or she's in the knight's armor and she drops down, Leon's back hurts like a bitch.
Yeah.
And of course, watching all the monks try to carry her off to no success.
Yeah, when you're out on the boat, no, actually, if you're near the water at the edge of the lake, and you shoot the water, the freaking giant fish will grab you.
And there's even an achievement for that, because it's hilarious.
And then there was like another one was like why they didn't even have to spend the effort animating this, and yet they did. Where after you kill El Gigante, they actually animated like his facial muscles going through those last moments of life. Like
All I know is that I have no idea what happens if you fight El Gigante without saving the dog, because I don't know anybody who has seen that dog who hasn't rescued it. Like, seriously.
Yeah.
Have any of us who have played Resident Evil 4 know what happened? Personally, I think El Gigante kicks your ass because you didn't save the dog. Because only monsters don't save dogs. We need more dogs.
Yeah.
I guess that means that we're gonna get more Resident Evil videos from Derek. He's Derek. For Derek, get some more Derek.
No idea who you're talking about.
Stop skeletons from fighting.
Oh right. See, I don't know. I don't know their names when you just say like. It's like I don't know Ant Dude's name. I know him as Ant Dude.
I was just referencing, you know, the way he like opens up. Hey, it's Derek. I'm for Derek or something like that.
Hey, it's me. Hey, it's me, Derek. I'm Derek. Or what? I forget how exactly he does do it, but yeah.
Yeah, something like that, exactly.
I've never actually watched any of his normal videos. I usually just watch I think I've seen like his sort of history of Resident Evil ports.
I used to watch him when he was still the happy video game nerd. Where he straight up had a parody opening of the AVGN theme, except it's about talking about the hidden gems that people overlook. And that was...
Yeah. Because, like, I'm subscribed to him, but I haven't actually watched a video of his in ages.
I know that feeling.
I know I've enjoyed watching his stuff about the various ports and stuff. It's like, it was actually through him that I found out that Doom 64 is actually an original game and not just a port.
Yeah.
I know, right? I always thought it was just a port too. But no. No. Also, how else do I wish to learn about the intricate story of Splatterhouse? Where you get to be the best dad ever. No, seriously, and that's the plot of Splatterhouse 3, where your wife and kid get kidnapped, and you put on that demon mask to basically go save their ass.
Mm-hmm.
If that ain't dedication to the family, I don't know what is. Oh, Kirby looks so cute when he's
I did not realize he had this idle animation of just like sitting down.
That is cute. I like that.
Yeah, he's not doing it. Yeah.
He knows. He knows we're watching. Although he does look so cute when he's just sort of looking around. Maybe he has different idle animations.
Perhaps.
And idle animations, they were like a gem back in the day. I can't even think if like idle animations are still a thing, like other than like I think the closest I can think of in modern games is usually they go into like a relaxed state where it's just like, okay, you're playing like a third-person shooter, they've got their gun at the ready, and then after about like say 30 seconds or whatever, they will just like put the gun down and just have a relaxed stance. That's about it.
Or maybe rub their arm, kind of hear, you know, just relaxing the muscles, check their gun.
I think it kind of depends on how seriously the game takes itself.
Sure.
Yeah, that too. But I do miss the game, you know, the idle animations that break the fourth wall, like them looking at the player like, come on, hurry up!
Yeah.
Okay, say what you want about Bubsy 3D. It did definitely have one of the best idle animations where he just straight up messes with the TV settings. That's like, that is funny. And that's the only good thing I can think of about Bubsy 3D. Or Bubsy in general.
And it's like with Banjo-Kazooie, you'd have stuff like Kazooie just sort of pecking Banjo and...
Yeah.
You know, I just realized something.
Yeah?
if there was one crossover that you could do with Kirby that would kind of fit perfectly, like no questions asked, like, oh yeah, I can see this happening. Kirby and Adventure Time.
I could totally see Kirby crash landing on Ooh and Finn and Jake having an adventure with them.
It's one of those because I'm not entirely brushed up on my lore for Adventure Time, but the idea is that it's like a post-apocalyptic sugar bowl, basically, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that would fit.
Quite literally, they literally call it the Mushroom Wars.
Yeah.
When they reference it, you think, oh, it must be a war about, like giant mushrooms. No, that's not the kind of mushrooms they were talking about.
Yeah.
And that's one of the least scary things about the show. Wait until you meet the Lich.
Yep. I mean, he is literally a nuclear-powered bloody necromancer.
Voiced by Ron Perlman. The voice of Slade, who had one of the most rapey dialogue while chasing Raven. Still gives me chills. And that speech of how he will go and extinguish all life across the universe. Yeah. Ron Perlman. He can do a villainous speech.
Okay,
Perfect.
so actually, something I was meaning to ask there, since you're brushed up in your Kirby lore. So what exactly is it with those enemies that you basically see in every Kirby game? They're like the little happy floaty dudes that then
Turn
become
into demon faces.
Oh, the
Yeah.
Scarfies?
Yeah.
I don't know if there is a specific role for them, at least in game. I remember them being a product of the Nightmare Corporation in the anime, but I'm not sure if, that is what they fully are. It's a safe bet that some enemies are probably, the creation of something from a long time ago. But I'm not sure if there's any specific lore about Scarfy. Bet you might have to check the wiki for that.
It's I think they kind of perfectly encapsulate in a single design what Kirby's about.
I'm gonna eat ya!
Oh no, I just mean yeah, these things look happy and friendly, but then there's just this darkness waiting to come out.
Just waiting for you to look away so it can surprise you.
And checking the wiki, and I'm not seeing much in the way of lore. Mostly just, oh, if you're trying to inhale them, they get pissed off at you. Like Kirby Robo Planet, I mean, there's robotic ones, but there's been robotic enemies.
Yeah. And that's probably one of the things where it's oh yeah, they probably got roboticized by Haltman or something.
Yeah. And yeah, he buzzing Kirby right back at you, where Deity bought 4 Scarfies as a pet, and they had the same appetite like Kirby. So, I guess the best thing I could think of is maybe the corporation's trying to clone a Kirby? If they have the same ravenous appetite, just none of the duplicating abilities.
I mean, they do kind of have that same, at least when they're looking at you, the same pleasant expression as Kirby. Maybe they are somewhat derivative.
Exactly. I mean, and they're called Scarfies, which is to,
Scarfing things up, yeah.
Yeah. It also Scarify, which means to frighten. So it's a play on words.
Because the Japanese love their puns.
The 3 P's of Japanese comedy: herbs, puns, and pain.
And it just makes things, it can make things difficult for localizers. That'll be like, how do we localize this Japanese pun into something that's understandable in English?
Yeah. And that's the problem, because if you want to enjoy Japanese comedy, sometimes you need that, like, context. And it sometimes can ruin the joke, but honestly, I can still enjoy some good Japanese comedy if I understand where the pun is coming from.
Yeah. Yeah, because, it is, like, one of those things that's like, gosh, do you explain the joke? Because that can almost make it worse, because it's like... On the other hand, there's almost an entire humor to the whole aspect of, oh, character says this one line, and then there is this essay that appears on screen by the translator explaining the meaning of the pun.
Yeah. At the very least, I feel like I learned something.
Of course, you also have the classic. All according to Kikaku. Kikaku means plan.
Of explanation hurt the most, because just that the translator was really invested. Gosh, I really need to go in depth to make sure that they understand the sophisticated joke, but the issue is, since they weren't able to translate it based, the longer the explanation, the more it shows how much of a failure of translation, like how much it couldn't get done. That
I think
how much of a bad it is.
According to Keku, is funny because they didn't even need to have that untranslated.
Yeah.
That it's all according to plan.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that that's why it's funny.
Yeah.
It's almost as if it was done intentionally just to fuck with people. But I
Yeah.
don't know. It's
Like-
right up there with people die when they are killed. It just makes sense in context, but funnier out of it. Oh,
Like-
and I will now pleasure myself with this fish.
That was just a completely different translation.
I know, but it just makes me laugh.
Yeah, so it
I'm
is
sorry.
one of those things that makes it, like, an interesting thing of how it's like... Or kind of makes a point about how it's like, yeah, we all kind of want a most accurate representation of a thing, but at the same time, there does kind of wind up being those things that wind up happening, where it's like, okay, yeah, this is meant to refer to this, which has a very specific cultural meaning and context with this, and so you should feel this way, but it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, yeah, maybe for a bunch of nerds you could take the time to stop and tell them what it means, but it's like, the rest of the time, it's like, okay, this is meant to be something that just about anyone can watch and consume. You're not really gonna have time to sit down and explain it, so it's like, okay, what is the closest thing we can do that works with this? And it makes me appreciate how much work has to go into, like, translating and localizing and all that.
Yeah.
Or it's things like, there are certain things I kind of do like how they turn out. Maybe it's because of nostalgia or first exposure or whatever, but it's something I still kind of appreciate, like how, in Final Fantasy VI, one of the main characters' name, in the original Japanese, she was called Tina, but the translator Ted Woolsey said, well, no, let's call her Terra, because his reasoning was, okay, Tina was meant to sound like a strange and exotic name to the Japanese ear, so it's like, well, how about when we do this in English, Tina sounds like an ordinary name, how about we call her Terra instead? It kind of has a bit of the same feel to it, but it still sounds kind of nice to an English ear.
Yeah.
People joke about the whole
Good.
William things, but sometimes he was on point for a while.
And of course, there are so many things about how Final Fantasy got translated in those days that we know we would never be without, like frickin' Spoony Bard.
Yep.
I Garland will knock you all down. I love that. I freaking love that line.
There are some things that, like, it's kind of funny how it's like there may have been things in contention that, like, I don't think anyone really, except for maybe some people who still argue. So One Piece. Originally, people
bring
thought,
up a lot lately. You noticed?
huh?
You tend to bring up One Piece a lot lately. You noticed?
I brought it up once last time we were talking when I was talking about tournament arcs and now
Like, over the last few months.
Can
I
we
think it's
please
like,
just
Yeah.
like, what is the point, please?
So yeah, basically, like, there are some people out there that will still say it's like, oh, it's supposed to be, what is it, Rufy instead of Luffy.
All right, yeah, because of the whole L and R thing.
Yeah.
I think Luffy sounds better because
Yes.
Monkey D. Luffy runs off the tongue better than Monkey D. Rufy.
Yeah.
With a name like Rufy,
Yeah, I was just about to say, Roofy.
yeah. Although I've seen people still debate Zoro Zolo.
It
Either or.
Zoro feels
I
like it
think-
makes more sense because, like, it sounds like it's referring, like, to the character Zoro.
Yeah. And yeah, I think that was only in, like, the 4Kids dub that they actually changed it to Zolo.
For
Even so, it
reasons.
does still sound okay to me.
Yeah.
At least they completely changed his name.
Yeah. But, like, there is a pun in that I think it was One Piece, that I think it's like, I don't think you could really translate it to English. At least not that I could think of in a way.
Yeah.
Where it's like, Frankie, who is, you know, kind of a bit of a... He's usually called like a pervert because, you know, he wears frickin' Speedos. He's like fighting a bunch of people that are like in basically like airships or whatever. I think this was One Piece. And the joke was like, oh, they're in formation or whatever, and formation is in Japanese is hentai, and of course we also know what it also means in other contexts.
Yeah, that would be really hard to translate. Also, I always thought Frankie got his name because this would be like a play on Frankenstein. Because, you know, he's an augmented human, like Frankenstein had pieces of other people on him, so he had pieces of the machine. But that might be a stretch.
Because you never know, sometimes it could just be a case of, Frankie, that's a nice name. I'll use that for a character.
He is the... I mean, Oda has said in SBS if every character was from a different country, Frankie would be from the US.
And apparently Luffy's Brazilian.
Which suddenly makes the whole what his devil fruit really is suddenly make a lot more sense.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, his name, Monkey D, like monkey.
Yeah.
Honestly, the whole Oda never planned for this. I think he did.
Well, it's probably more a case of, again, like what a lot of authors do. They plan the start, they plan the end, but they don't really plan the middle.
Yeah. Although Oda has shown he's really good at playing the long game.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember the whole Jinbei thing. Jinbei was mentioned offhand when they were, like, describing Nami's heading to Arlon Park and, like, the 7th Warlord of the Sea, Jinbei, unleashed upon the East you know, a terror from the deep as they're describing Arlong. And then we find out about Jinbei like years later.
Yeah. But yeah. I also remember those like it's like Pokemon names as well, where it's like, okay, Pikachu is just straight up a Japanese pun. No, not really pun, it's I guess it's more of an onomatopoeia sort of thing, because it's, you know, Pika Pika is the sound electricity is supposed to make, and Chew is the sound a mouse is supposed to make, so...
Crackling Chew, yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, if they were to actually localize Pikachu's name, what would it be?
Spark Mouse.
Yeah, Spark Mouse? That just doesn't sound as good.
Go!
Spark mouth.
Yeah.
It's a rat with lightning, made with real lightning.
Maybe Buzzer Rat? Yeah, that doesn't sound as cute.
Yeah.
Though I find it funny how it's like there were some Pokemon names that in the original Japanese just felt too on point. Like I am thoroughly amused by the fact that Umbreon's Japanese name is Blackie.
Yeah.
It's like that's a nickname a kid gives an Umbreon.
Yeah. I think, yeah,
Tell
and
me
there's no
that.
way they would have kept that after the whole Jinx debacle.
If Umbreon is Blackie, does that mean Espeon is Whitey?
And moving on.
Good night, everybody. Nah, what is Espeon's English name? Like, I don't think
have a
it's
look.
that. I think it's something about dawn because it evolves in daylight. I'm not
Let's
sure
see.
though.
It's like Eefy.
Effie.
Yeah. That's what I like about, like, okay, Cerebi is great for a lot of Pokemon content, but it doesn't do like the name origin and trivia like
Like
Bulbapedia.
Bulbapedia, yeah.
Yeah, Bulbapedia does seem a little better for the whole translation info thing.
I guess it's because some of that name stuff is a little bit speculation and not hard fact. Which I think Cerebi is more for.
Yeah.
I'd rather at least get some speculation for, like, a direction.
Yeah. So, Eefy may be a combination of the Japanese word for like Esper and for feel.
Yeah, I could see that.
Maybe.
It's like when I was naming some fake mon, I would often be like, nah, that sounds too like sounds too kind of silly to be a Pokemon name, and then I remember it's like, wait, no, we have plenty of Pokemon names that basically say exactly what they are.
Mhm.
Seal.
Oh my god.
That, you know, I'm gonna say this right now. Seal, worst Pokemon name. They didn't even try.
I mean, at least they used two E's instead of an A, so it's not just the animal.
At least
Yeah.
Arbok, there is something clever about reversing it. But with Seal, what did they even do with him? They just give him a little horn. That's it.
Also, Krabby.
Yes.
Yeah, that too. That also was. You know, I am nostalgic for Gen 1, but I will. I don't care what anyone says. Gen 1 had lazy designs just as much as every other.
Yeah.
Mhm.
If we're being honest, I think even Vanillite is a lot more clever than other, Pokemon.
Yeah.
My only complaint is that, well, the shiny isn't chocolate.
Because it's not meant to.
It's
'Cause
called
What
Vanillite.
you have rather it be?
Right, but
Strawberry?
what I'm saying is, again, it's not. It is one of those. It is a question that is asked. It's like, is the classic ice cream cone, was it something that in the Pokemon world was designed based on Vanillite?
Yeah, it's just one of those things. It's just...
Because it's like, yeah, it makes sense. Vanillite is a living icicle. It's an ice elemental that has snow on it. Therefore, it looks like a cone.
Yeah, I get it. And I don't think it's the worst design. No, I still... honestly, Krabby is probably the laziest design.
Yeah. And,
The laziest design is a pink blob.
True.
No, but I mean, if you're trying to make fantastic creatures, I think Krabby is the most boring. At least with the pink blob, it's your standard RPG slime.
Yeah.
And Pidgey, okay, I would also say Pidgey and Spearow might be lazy, but at least with Spearow, it's an angry bird.
Yeah. Let's see. One that I would go with, I would say Garbodor is a better design any day over Muck.
Yeah.
I mean, I do like the pure slimeness of Muck, but at the same time, like, there is something to, like, okay, how do you take toxic garbage, whatever thing, and turn it into something interesting?
Yeah.
Let's just be grateful it wasn't brown. Then again, I guess you could say it's an Utieg.
Yeah, it's just still, like, I know there are a lot of people that absolutely hate it when there any kind of Pokemon design based on inanimate objects. And, like, that is a classic thing in fantasy, though. You've got, like, mimics, which is what, like, frickin', like, Ditto and,
Actually, if we're being honest, the reason why it's so prevalent in Japanese culture is because
Yokai.
mythology.
Yeah.
Also, speaking of lazy designs, okay, we're just gonna give the Pokeball angry eyes.
Yeah.
Okay, what happens when it evolves?
It turns upside down.
And it has a smile on its face.
You know, I feel it's kind of telling that it is associated most with the move Self-Destruct, because this Pokemon, upon realizing its existence, want to stop it.
Oh my
Well-
god, maybe that is why.
I mean, yeah, Voltorb and Electrode were supposed to be the mimics of Gen 1. Like, Ditto technically Ditto is definitely the more of the classic understanding of a mimic. It is a creature that can mimic others. But yeah, Voltorb and
terms of, like-
Electrode are
In terms of the game mechanic mimic.
yeah.
Hold up. If we're talking about those, then even going by Pokedex entries, wouldn't it be Geodude? Like, this thing is literally mistaken for rocks by people going on paths and such.
Well, it's more in the sense of, oh, we're playing a video game and, ooh, here's something we think is treasure. It's an item ball, but no. It turns out it's a Voltorb.
I think the one mimic I've hated the most is from Final Fantasy 12. The one that looks like
Crystal
the
mimic?
fake crystal. Yeah. Okay. Trapping the chest is all fine and dandy. Trapping the save point? That's a dick move.
Yeah, again, that reminds me of the people have like it might have been actual concept art. I'm not sure if it's fan art or actual concept art, but the bonfire mimic that people have shown in Dark Souls.
Oh my god. And the mimic itself is an unholy abomination that needs to burn into fire. What happens when the mimic is made of fire? What do you throw it into?
But yeah, a bonfire mimic in Dark Souls would be the most cruelest joke.
I think I can imagine the design team, you know, they're planning this, and it's like, no, we just reserve a place in hell for this. Yeah, if that was in the game, yeah, they reserve a spot in hell. That booby trapping a save is not cool. Especially when you have no way to do a proper save.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if you're using save checkpoints, no, that's not cool. If you're in a game where you can save at any time, then it's usually more okay to have booby traps all over the place and stuff like that, but still frustrating.
Okay, I think the best way to do something like a bonfire mimic in Dark Souls is you'd have to set it up like a boss. So it's like you'd have the fog gate, and you push through the fog gate as you normally do with any other boss, and then you just see the bonfire. So it's like, oh, I guess there isn't a boss here. Then you go to the bonfire, then it activates. That way you're at least prepared. It's like, oh, okay, this is a boss.
Yeah, and in fact, and then the game also gives you a bonfire nearby.
No, that's not how Dark Souls works. Yeah, no.
Okay, fair enough. It's been a long time since.
Like, okay, they'll usually have like a. Sometimes you'll get a shortcut before a boss, but it's why the boss run or the they usually call it like a boss run or a bonfire run or whatever is a thing where it's like, yeah, fighting the boss may be difficult, but also how is the run back to the boss once you've respawned. Thankfully, Elden Ring has actually fixed this.
Well, as long as you're happy with your brutal Souls games.
Actually, I kind of hate Elden Ring.
Really? Why?
Because its fashion sucks.
Oh. Well, if that's the case, it must still be a pretty good game, if that's your only complaint.
Yeah, I guess. Like, I gave up quickly when I found, like, I ended up using Cheat Engine to basically spawn in every set of armor in the game so I could actually have a look. And I'm like, all the sort of casting armor sets or outfits are like very unflattering looking robes and no shoes. Like,
God.
I don't know why he was like, yes, all casters in this world go barefoot.
What is this, America? Oh, wait, no, right to bare arms, not bare feet.
And it's funny because it's like even in an interview, he said like, oh, the reason why we ended up giving Millennia like shoes was because some of my team said that I would be made fun of if I had her barefoot. which is what he originally wanted.
Okay.
But then he goes and makes all the casters in general barefoot.
So I gotta ask, did he work for Did he work for Nickelodeon? Because this is starting to sound familiar.
I don't get it.
Andrew, you want to explain?
I do not understand the reference either.
Yeah, this is...
Nickelodeon, bare feet.
Yeah, Brand,
Brand,
just
you're not
explain it.
explain the reference. No one understands this but you.
There was a director for Nickelodeon who had a foot fetish.
Okay. I
Do
think that
not
is
need
something
to
that...
have that on the stream.
I think that is only something you know.
Whatever.
I mean, if you're going to say director, like a director that clearly has his likes, we can look at frickin' good old why am I blanking on his name? Frickin' Pulp Fiction, bloody
I was talking about
Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah.
Oh fuck! Why am I blanking on his name?
I can't remember his name either now, and that worries me. It's not Michael Bay.
Nah.
So yeah, Pulp
Well, Michael
Fiction.
Bay doesn't.
Kill Bill.
Yeah. Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah!
Plot, your mic is doing a weird sound thing.
Oh, that is some strange ornamentation. A jagged rainbow? Between posts, I guess?
Yeah.
I don't know, I kind of dig it.
It's funny. You've gone from like Death Factory now back to Happy Fields.
Mm-hmm. I mean, this is where the fairies live.
Yeah. Also, I should have mentioned it, kept on thinking about it, but never actually bring it up. But goddamn, I do love how DDD is a bro.
Mm-hmm.
He's definitely a villain. It's like, you know what? I can't beat Kirby. Let's just actually help him when I can get brownie points.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, the reason why DDD does what he does is just out of jealousy. I just want to be as popular as Kirby. Is that too much to ask?
Again, that fucking picture where it's like back in the 90s what DD was. So it's like, I'm gonna get that Kirby. Now it's modern DDD. It's like, I do what I must for my people.
You think he's also Bowser's drinking buddy? Like, they just go to like one of the Japanese bars, and it's like, so, how was your day? Mario threw me in the lava. You, Kirby threw me in the sun. Yeah. And then they just drink some sake.
Yeah,
Be right back, gotta check whether my mom is up because we have window cleaning scheduled.
fair enough. I was gonna say, I imagine it more a case of DDD trying to like talk Bowser out of his constant vengeance, or trying to kidnap Peach. It's like, Look, man, like, I get it. I was there once, but sometimes you just gotta move on, and you know, you'll do much better for your kingdom when you're not so focused.
You know, I'm just thinking he just looks like he's just the Big Lebowski. He's just the Big Lebowski type, you know? I can see that. Like, you can catch more flies of honey than vinegar, man. Well, you're still catching flies. That's not the point! The point is, you're a... Bowser, you have an unhealthy lifestyle. How much debt are you in for rebuilding your castle at the time? I could make the payment. That's not the point!
You know, for me, like, I'm imagining this sort of thing how it's like, you know, especially think of like, okay, the difference between Bowser and DDD and the relationships with their rival, where it's like, okay, whatever would happen if like Mario showed up at Bowser's castle, there's gonna be a thing going down. But it's like, I could imagine a case where it's like, okay, DDD's like, alright, I've got a festival going on or whatever, gonna have a good time, and oh, there's Kirby. Look, here's something shiny, just don't do anything else while you're here.
Yes, I will give you some of the leftovers when it's over. There will be. Boyo, not if you eat it all. Boyo. You can have one layer of the cake. Boyo! the top one! The top one! And you just,
No. Actually,
Alright, I checked. She's awake, but she's not quite yet up. So I'll be here for a moment longer.
Yay!
here's an idea. DDD actually does want to do something serious, but he doesn't want Kirby to get in the way. So it's like, hey, Kirby, look, here's something I got you. A whole room full of cake. Now you just sit here and enjoy this cake. And then DD goes off and conquers the world.
yeah.
But then again, then he'd probably have to deal with Meta Knight.
It's like, you know, it's like, yes, now I'll finally take over the world. Sir, what are you doing? Nothing. Because it looks to me like you're about to take over the world. I mean, and that would be kind of a bad thing, because I am a man of the people.
You know what?
The people, he says as he draws a sword.
I think what would happen is Meta Knight would gladly let DDD try to take over the world, but he would obviously be the shadow dude in control.
Yeah.
Yeah, when his bot, when one of his androids like, sir, you know you could just behead DDD and take the throne, right? Yes, but a wise ruler always has a big meat shield in front of him to deter assassins. Oh! Does that mean I'm getting a promotion because I know your plan? Well, you're not dead, so I'm not getting the promotion, but I'm not dead. You catch on quick.
Now I'm trying to think of like other classic video game villains. I mean,
Ganon and Zelda, like, I just
well, okay, now Ganon is of course a very different case because of that's a whole can of worms. It's like, okay, what era of Ganon is it? Is it how far gone into Calamity State is he? Is this like
This is Pig Ganon, Ganondorf the Thief, or freaking demonic god.
well, because it's like the whole thing with Calamity Ganon. It's like, yeah, Ganon's been revived so many times that he's just basically forgotten who he is. He's just now a entity of destruction.
And inexplicably pigs.
But like, I would still love to like. I'm pretty sure there's been a death battle of there has been a death battle of this. I'm fully aware of, but freaking Wily and bloody Eggman.
They need to redo that one, because that was like one of their earlier ones. Now that there's like more data and they're a lot better with the animation, dude, that could be really sick. They might even reference in like his bio, may or may not want to piss on the moon. I mean,
That's like
Shadow did bang his wife.
So here's the thing, you have both of them in the same setting, right? Like, there's not even a versus thing, and they both like, independently end up essentially causing the apocalypse, both through viruses. You have the frickin' Zombot virus, and then you have what is it that Wily made?
The Roboenza.
Yeah.
Which,
Yeah, let's be honest. I just want to see Sonic Boom, Eggman deal with Wily.
and of course, there's also the fact that he also made the strongest thinking robot in the form of Zero.
Yep.
But Eggman has also made a really powerful robot in the form of Metal Sonic, who also can incorporate other beings. So, but Zero, as they did shown in a death battle, does actually have better capabilities.
I mean, especially once he goes Neo.
Yeah, exactly. Also, for a death battle, they had Ganon fight Bowser and Dracula. Castlevania Dracula.
Yeah.
It went about as well as you think it would. Awesomely. And their next one is actually a bonus. Raiden versus Excalibur. Yeah, Warframe is finally getting some love.
See.
Yeah. So personally, I'm still putting my money on Raiden because, goddamn, those feet. Though, I don't know, they're gonna probably dig into the lore and find some reason why Excalibur might win.
Warframe, especially with the latest story content, which I won't get into for spoilers, but
I don't mind spoilers.
I very much mind spoilers,
yes.
thank you.
Yes.
Okay, so he's not aware. Got it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But either way, I will put my money on the frickin' thing that can survive being in a hell void dimension.
Yes.
That's a good point. That is also very important. Yeah. Yeah, I just can't wait to see what crazy. I just want to see the fight.
The thing is, I know who's gonna win. It's gonna be Raiden because the frickin' meme is the thing right now.
Well,
What meme?
I forget what it is, but it's the one song with one dude punching the other.
Yeah, frickin' yeah. Standing here, I realize.
Yeah.
Which, honestly, they probably would reference in... Because it's like... When you... Thinking of like, yeah, no, they're easily going to reference that, because it's like... When you think of, like, Excalibur, and, like... They're going to have to be like... Okay, Excalibur is likely going to have adaptation, because adaptation is a mod that everyone uses.
Oh
and
my-
adaptation reduces damage by 90%.
Because it's a nano machine, son.
Yeah.
Alright, you know what? Okay. Either way, I think it's still gonna be an entertaining fight. I just watched for the spectacle. I mean, one of the better fights was Omni-Man versus Homelander, which was really brutal, as both shows are. So, no surprise who won that one, because it was basically a god versus a bully. So, Sun Wukong versus Hercules was also pretty entertaining.
Yeah, but as established, some Wukong's kind of bullshit.
That was kind of the point, like, how many different ways of immortality did he obtain? Like, why do you need more than one?
Yeah.
You know, in case you misplace another one.
Sun Wukong is... I want to say he's almost like a player character who became a god, but the player character was a min-maxer.
Yeah.
Like, Hercules is the player character that became a god, but he was playing it kind of straight. But Wukong was just fucking with the GM. So yeah, they really need to remake Wily versus Eggman. Those two... It's one of those fights that I want to see again. That and Doomslayer versus Master Chief, so Master Chief would still win. But I still think that it would be a pretty cool fight to watch.
I don't get that. Why? Like, Doomslayer is fighting, like, literal gods.
That is also true. The original Doom guy, they only pitted him against Master Chief because it was famous Space Marines versus original Space Marines. But Doomslayer is different from Doom guy.
Sure, yeah.
So,
No.
yeah, there could be a difference, yeah. And remember, the original fight was, that was like season 1 of Death Battle, which was like over 10 years ago. So, information and things change. But the animation gets improved. I know, there was even some live action fights. Well, with Batman versus Daredevil and Winter Soldier versus Red Hood. No, yeah, was it Red Hood?
I don't know. As I said, I don't really watch Death Battle. I've seen
No. There was
half a dozen.
I was talking about like where Jason Todd, he stopped being Robin and he became like Red Hood.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one. Still, I understand why you don't like him.
And it's just the thing is when it comes to a lot of those X versus blank crossovers, it's like, it's just so much fan wank.
Yeah.
And that can be fun, but...
Yeah. Plus, I like some of the sillier fights, like Saitama versus Popeye the Sailor Man.
Yeah. And like as I have recently established, and we won't really get back into it just as a brief mention, is that like for a fight to be exciting to me, it's gotta have that story reason.
Gotta be
You get
stakes.
a little better at setting up some sort of conflict. Yeah. Well, you might at the very least like Macho Man Randy Savage versus the Kool-Aid Man.
Yeah.
Story around that fight.
Yeah, it's a big reason why I've really gotten back into wrestling. The way they build up this, like, you could have the same two wrestlers like fight each other like multiple times over a couple of weeks or whatever.
And
But like the
story arc, yeah.
yeah.
No, it reminds me of that episode of South Park that came out years ago, where the kids were doing their own wrestling thing, but they weren't wrestling. They were like doing big performances and stuff. And even when this like official from the WWE wanted to scout them, he's like in an opera state. He has like a playbill and everything. And honestly, I get it. I get why wrestling is popular. Not for me, but I appreciate the fact that it's one part seeing guys do cool moves, but the other part, the story, the betrayal, the plot.
Yeah.
Man doing something weird.
There's a match of one of my favorite wrestlers. His name is Orange Cassidy, and like his whole shtick is that he's like the no effort wrestler. Like he kind of does everything with this lazy flair. In fact, his gimmick is that he will like when he's about to go in like a surge of kicking ass, he'll like put his hands up in the air and then slowly bring them down and put them in the pockets of his jeans, and then he'll just start like wrestling with his hands in his pockets, just like he's ridiculous. But yeah,
Oh, hey, look, something's happening.
yeah.
We're stopping the evil! Yay! Uh-oh. And he
Kirby just pulls out a
the
phone.
Yeah.
Did they always had that?
Sure, why not?
It's Kirby. It makes
You
sense.
know what? I'm not even gonna argue with this weird plot direction. It's Kirby. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a match. This was back in like the indie circuit for Orange Cassidy. So this was before he went into AEW. But the match has him falling asleep in the middle of the ring, and the other wrestler's like, "Oh, now I get to pin him." So what he does is he gets a pillow, puts it under Cassidy's head, gets a blanket, puts it over him, very quietly.
Just pulls out from under the ring a lot.
Yeah.
Like the stairs.
Exactly, yeah. So then, yeah, he, carefully covers him for the pin, and the ref gets down quietly and starts to, like, do a very quiet 1, 2, 3, but then Orange Cassidy, rolls over to get into a more comfortable position, so he has to reset it up in that, and just as the ref's about to call 3, he starts to get, a sneeze. So the other wrestler puts his finger on his nose. It's like, okay. The sneeze is averted. Goes to count 3 again, sneezes, and Orange Cassidy wakes up.
See, it's stuff like that. That's the kind of shit I like in wrestling, where everybody is in on the joke.
Yeah.
But honestly, it's more entertaining than just going to see a play, because of a play, the story's always going to be set, but with wrestling, you never know what's going to happen. Oh, sure, maybe wrestlers will keep doing their same moves, but sometimes things go wrong. Sometimes an ally is actually a traitor. Maybe a guy will dress up in a turkey costume and they'll do a do-si-do in the ring. I don't know.
Then there was a match where one of the wrestlers had time manipulating powers, So he activated slow motion. Every wrestler then started to fight at like 25% speed, and even the commentators were commentating in slow motion.
Yeah, see, that... Look, that's the kind of funny shit. This is like anime. This is like I expected an anime to happen. Yeah. Also, I love how we're talking about wrestling while he's fighting a goddamn element abomination! But for real, I'm glad you're getting back into it, and it still is funny.
Yeah.
You know, you might not, given that you like that sort of thing, you might like Baki the Ultimate Grappler, which is...
Aware.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm aware of the greatest scene.
Yeah?
I'll link it later, because there's no way I can do it justice.
Yeah, send me that scene. Like, okay, I know of Baki, I've seen a review of, like, the original OVA by Sage, and I'm aware of how insane it is through my toasted. I mean, hell, one of my favorite anime manga is Sugoi, which I basically call, Kaiji the Ultimate Survivor mixed with Baki the Grappler's over the topness. Yeah. Maybe that is why people like DBZ and other shonen anime. It's the same reason why people love wrestling. The over-the-topness, the story between fighters, and the weird twists and turns that happen along the way, right? I say as you fight a goddamn blood angel.
Which has a freaking spike thing sticking out of its bottom.
Ew. Also, I love how it's an evil archangel, but it has, like, a band-aid on its forehead.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is so weird.
Well, to indicate that it has been hurt before.
Also, it looks like it has either an artichoke or a cactus up its ass. You got this. You got this. You got this by the ass.
Just gotta figure out what to hit. Ah, gotta hit the spike coming out of it.
So, earlier today I decided to try RuneScape Classic. I can see why people still play it. It's very chill.
You play that, and you don't play Final Fantasy 14 with us?
That's because I can't afford to.
What do you mean?
I wasn't
Aren't you aware that the award-winning Final Fantasy 14 is free up to level 60, including the great expansion, Heaven's Ward?
No, I didn't! Tell me more! By the way, today's stream is brought to you by Final Fantasy.
Hashtag not sponsored, hashtag willing to be sponsored, Square Enix.
Hashtag will suck dick to be sponsored. Hashtag unnoted prostitution is legal. But for real, I wasn't doing it to play long. It was just one of those, it's free to play, see what the big deal is, and I can see why, but I'm not gonna go play it. Because I can already see the effort it's gonna take.
I will post this in shit posting. I know Andrew will get a kick out of this if he hasn't seen it already. But, you know, doing this at the moment, so for later.
Yeah.
No, that's funny. No, that's funny.
Almost there.
Have you slain God? Because you will now take its place.
How could they show such lewdness in a children's game?
My God. Although, that is really
Hey.
cute.
Holy shit.
Hmm?
Who uses that?
What?
Buddy, the ending theme for this, now that I hear it, I'm like, there's a YouTuber I watch that uses it. Maybe Ant Dude?
He does
'Cause
like
he is
his
a big
Kirby.
Kirby. Yeah.
I'm just still salty that Scott stopped using his usual ending theme.
Yeah.
It was like a rights thing, wasn't it?
Maybe.
Yeah. Ah. Yeah, that is kind of funny sometimes to be watching like videos and people will use stuff and it's like, oh yeah, I know where that song is from, or in the reverse here, where it's like, oh, that's where it's from.
Yeah.
Yeah, like sometimes I keep hearing like that one RuneScape theme for something. Or for like meme videos. A lot of Mario.
Mm-hmm.
So, a little bit off topic, but so we finally started Zeta Gundam. I am sold by the first episode immediately. Holy shit.
Nice.
The main character is he's great. He's got no chill.
So, now that you've beaten this 100%, what are you gonna do next?
I am gonna play mini games.
I thought you were gonna say you're going to Disneyland. I'm going to Disneyland!
But yeah, like, I know I've kind of said this before, but I suppose it was saying again. Next time I'm gonna be starting up Hollow Knight.
Yay!
Cool.
Hey, you can join in on the great memes. Like the joke that the reason why Silk Song was delayed was because one particular character was kept on getting sacrificed by the community.
Okay.
Wasn't this also in Pokemon Stadium?
Possibly something like it,
Yeah.
because they had a fair few bit of mini games to do. So
Actually, yeah, I think there was something like that. I think it was like Rattatas.
yeah,
Yeah.
they were like on a conveyor belt kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Easy game, baby game. I mean, then again, it is also easiest difficulty, but yeah.
DDD just styling on everyone.
Mm-hmm.
He's just like, you fuck over there.
Okay, so who the hell is this fourth girl?
Adeline, clearly.
Okay.
That's her twin sister.
So I assume game tomorrow because
Yep.
hopefully.
We will be missing Showa because he's got work thing tomorrow, but that's fine.
Okay.
Maybe it would be safe to assume that we are still extracting arrows from his back.
Yes.
Yeah. Also, I recently finished Knights of the Old Republic 2. I got all the achievements too.
Fair
It was
enough.
fun to revisit that game and become an ultimate god of lightning.
I think of all the
Yeah.
mini games in this game, this is the one I think I remember playing the most.
Oh my god, I am getting memories, but yes, I remember that. Yeah, I like this game. This one is definitely, yeah. Now, the mini game I remember playing a lot when I was younger with Pokemon Stadium was that Lickitung Sushi art one.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? Nintendo, give us the Pokemon Stadium game. It not just to battle with the old rules, but come on, we want to play mini games with our friends, right?
Yeah.
I think more people would play Pokemon Stadium for the mini games now.
Well, no, as I said, what they should do is they should actually just release alongside Pokemon Home a free-to-play sort of Pokemon Stadium thing. Like, they could call it, like, you know, Pokemon Arena or whatever. But the idea is it's just straight up just a battle engine that you can play for free using Pokemon in your in home, yeah, and also have mini games.
I mean, that would be a good way to do it.
Yeah.
Because really, the only thing that's kind of that, like, I think they would have to make it free because the problem is, if you want to do battling nowadays, There's free programs online to do it.
Exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, making it free, include a few fun mini games. Yeah, bring back the old Pokemon Stadium fans. And I think even the best thing they could probably do is, I don't know, maybe even set up, like, era rules, maybe? Like, if they could go the extra mile, maybe even set up rules for, like, each generation to play in, but that might be too complicated.
Kind of suck because that means like competitive didn't really start until like Gen 3, 4. I would say 4 is
And
when
you-
it really started. 3.
And you gotta bear in mind, like, so many, like, of the ways they do statistics and how Pokemon-type stuff interacts
Yeah.
changed so much.
Technically, competitive did start in the first era, but it didn't really pick up till 3, but I see what your point. Anyway, bathroom and whatnot.
Yeah, like... It would be cool if they did bring back something like a Pokemon Stadium type experience where there is kind of a nice all-around, like... Yeah, the novelty of Pokemon in 3D is kind of over now, but, like... Basically, kind of what it came down to is, like, okay, on one hand, you had a whole bunch of different combat scenarios to go through, sometimes topped off with a prize at the end.
Yeah.
And then there's just all the stuff of, like, I mean, yeah, like, okay, we got Pokemon Bank, which is kind of already a thing at this point with Home, but it's like... And then there's stuff like the mini-games, where it's like, that's something you could go back to and have fun with all the time, and... Yeah. I guess they maybe see some mini-game type content as being like, oh, if we're gonna do this, we might as well turn it into, like, a mobile game, full-on, or whatever. Still, it's like, yeah, I guess it's one of those things, it's not gonna be like the old days.
Mm-hmm.
That and who could forget about that one announcer? I think that's also what made the original Pokemon Stadium fun. The animation and the over-the-top announcer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like... Yeah, it really feels like it either needs to be, something like Pokemon Stadium or something like the Coliseum games. Where it's like, with how they seem to be needing to be very careful about, like, just putting a limited amount of Pokemon into even mainline games, having a thing like Coliseum and XD where it's like, okay, there's a limited number of Pokemon you can really do anything with.
The whole dark Pokemon thing, they could bring that back.
Yeah.
I could see a Pokemon Coliseum 3.
Yeah. And it's like they don't even need to revisit the Dark Pokemon concept. Just like having a fully featured RPG that isn't the typical format would be pretty good.
Yeah. And like, see, that's what I think. Like, by having this sort of like free-to-play arena where they can just have like that as like, you know, people that want to play Pokemon competitively, they've got that. Then they can then introduce more out-of-the-box concepts for the mainline games. Because it's like, okay, yeah, people are still going to buy the mainline games to, you know, transfer the Pokemon from that to home so that they can use them in the arena.
Yeah, doing something to just like mix up a bit, I think it would be awesome.
It is a good thing, though, that they do seem to be trying to improve the formula.
Yep, Legends Arceus is great.
Mm-hmm.
And the new Pokemon Violet and what was the other one? Violet and
Scarlet.
Scarlet.
Scarlet and Violet. The fact they're trying to improve the whole differences thing and actually make it count.
Yeah.
We are still going to be getting a lot of the same, but it looks like they're trying to improve it. It's not going to be like a... I hope this is a good direction for Pokemon.
Yeah, there's nothing we can really say about Scarlet and Violet yet, because we basically have very minimal information.
Yeah, it's like, as it is, it's basically just gonna be a matter of like, okay, there's a lot of things that look promising, but we won't really know until we actually have the game in our hands.
Yeah.
Though it does seem that they have learnt their lesson in one regard.
And what's that?
So, back with Sun and Moon, they released so much information about that game before its release. Like, it was almost like every few weeks, it was like, oh look, new Pokemon.
Now, it felt like every week, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. They pulled that back a bit with Sword and Shield, and then they pulled back even more with Legends, and now it's like we're like what, 4 months into the announcement, and we've only got like one extra trailer. Like, I'm surprised they didn't do anything around, like, a direct, which you'd expect by now.
Probably wisely keeping their cards close to their chest, as it were.
Anyway, I'm gonna go chill because I got my games tomorrow, and yeah.
Yeah.
Great to at least see you beat this game.
Yeah.
Peace out, dudes.
See ya.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll play another game. Yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to just seeing how it turns out. Like, I'm kind of glad that they're not doing so much information sharing just so that it winds up being all the more fresh.
I think the biggest problem with it, though, with this release, however, is that after Legends Arceus, it's like people want to know how much of this game is actually going to be classic, or if they're going more the Arceus route. So it's like, at least give us that information. Show us what style of Pokemon this is going to be.
Yeah, because they've been kind of vague about some of the actual gameplay.
Yeah.
And it's like there's been the question of like, oh, is there still going to be stealth catching? Because it's like, it looks like there is still some Sneaking?
Yeah. It also feels like it's too close to the release of Arceus for him to have actually been able to be like, oh look, fans responded really well to this gameplay.
Yeah, like, the feeling does seem a lot more like, okay, while we were developing, we realized there was these things that were cool that we want to keep doing or whatever, which is fine and all, but it's like, gosh, you would hope they would be willing to listen to fan feedback a bit more.
Yeah.
Too many damn smalls!
Though this is making me think of that one minigame from Mario Party. It's very, very different in terms of how it's done, but you know, the fruit catching one where you gotta determine like, do I want to catch? Do I want like 2 or 3?
Oh yeah,
One?
you have to not be too greedy and figure out how much other players will get, otherwise you get like a beehive or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so now you're catching star bits.
Gemstones falling from a rainbow.
Yeah.
But who knows, given that it's Kirby, it could just as easily be candy.
Yeah. This does also feel like I like both fitting for Kirby and Ruby in an aspect. Like, why are you trying to catch him? Just fly up there and grab him.
Yes. How did I not? Eh. I guess, surprise, surprise, the intense level is intense.
Yes.
I'll play a bit through this one.
Actually, this one makes me think of a great little mini game compilation that I'm surprised hasn't sort of been, like, I don't know, re-released. And that's Crash Bash.
A Crash Bandicoot game, I take.
Yeah, it was just it was like a mini game compilation, and one of its like mainstays was like similar to that, like a tile-based grid where you'd have either like, oh, you have to either claim the most of territory by like jumping on each block of the pogo stick, or I think they had like other variants, but yeah. Actually, I think the two main ones was like either every square you move on you claim and you have to try and get the most territory, or the other one was you have to draw a like you make a circuit and then you fill in every area in that.
Also, just realized that volcano in the background had a star-shaped crater, caldera,
Yeah.
whatever. I guess because of course it is. Then, yeah, I'll try that once more on intense difficulty, and then I think I'll feel good for that. Ooh, we're in space. Funny thing is, I remember as a kid I did eventually beat all of the stuff on the intense difficulty.
Oh yeah, you would have had more time put into it.
Mm-hmm. about what I expected. All that's left is to watch my subjects struggle.
Just DDD things.
Yeah.
And
It's a tie?
that's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Maybe it's based on who went down first or something, because
Yeah.
green won. Yeah. So that was Kirby 64.
Indeed.
Nice, pleasant revisit. Certainly not the same as quite as a kid, though. It was still chill time, though. It really is kind of as you say, with how it's like, I know that as a kid I would have had the time to just go back through and play these stages or play those mini games at my leisure. And there would have just been the fun in doing that over and over again. Glad it's still here. I mean, it's always not been here because I've always kept my cartridge around, but still, like, it's nice that it's here in the modern day on modern systems and it can be enjoyed by people.
Yeah.
Well, I think I will call that a stream.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Thank you for hanging out as always, and
No worries.
yeah. Bye.
Bye. And I'll also post this and ship posting.
Okay. Oh yeah, there was some stuff I didn't see. Oh yeah, I'll have to look at that later. Yeah. Oh yes, and of course there's the frickin' FF14 meme.